Good morning, students. Welcome to this session. In today's session, we will study about the solar energy and thermal energy conversion. Okay, so this is under unit number 5, that is non-conventional power plants. Okay, so what is thermal energy conversion? So mainly what happens, that is thermal electric generator. Okay, it converts heat energy that is thermal energy into electrical energy through semiconductor or conductor, and the direct conversion of heat energy into electrical energy. Okay, so that is without a conventional electrical generator. So it is based on the Seebeck thermoelectric effect. Okay, like in case of the other conventional power plants, we were using generator. So here directly the heat energy is converted into the electricity by using the that is Seebeck effect. Okay, so what is the Seebeck effect? That we will consider two dissimilar materials which is joined together in the form of the loop, so that there are two junctions. So two junction, that is hot junction and cold junction. So this is material 1, okay, and material 2. So we will get the heat and we will get the voltage. Okay, so Seebeck effect, it was in 1981. So Thomas Seebeck, he found an electric current. Okay, so it would flow continuously in a closed circuit which is made up of two dissimilar metals, and if the conjunction of the metals were maintained at two different temperatures. So we know that S is equal to dV by dt. Okay, so Tc means cold temperature and Th means hot temperature. Okay, so this is the diagram for the open circuit and this is the diagram for the closed circuit, and S is equal to dV by dt. S is the Seebeck coefficient with units of volts per Kelvin. So Seebeck coefficient is volts per Kelvin, and S is positive when the direction of electric current is same as the direction of the thermal current. Okay, so S will be positive only when electric current is same as that of the thermal current. And how the thermal electric energy is converted? Okay, so what happens if a temperature difference is maintained between the two junctions? An electric current will flow around the loop. So already we know that from the Seebeck effect. Then the magnitude of the current, it is dependent on both the materials used and the temperature difference of the junction, that is delta T is equal to T2 minus T1. Okay, and if the circuit is broken, an open circuit voltage V appears across the thermals of the break. Okay, so the thermal EMF produced by the device, it is given as V is equal to alpha S1 to 2 delta T. So this S1 to 2, it is the Seebeck coefficient which is in voltage per Kelvin. So you can see that voltage, it is dependent on the temperature here, that is change in temperature. So thermoelectric power generation, it is used in space shuttles and rockets for compact source of power, and they are used in energy recovery from automobile engines. Then they are used in diffusive heat flow and the Peltier effect are used. Okay, so both will reduce the temperature gradient. Okay, now let us study about the solar power plant. Okay, so it is the important topic. Solar energy, it is the ultimate renewable source. Okay, so in India we are having the abundance of solar because we have the summer, then spring, winter also we have the good quantity of solar energy. But in like in the polar countries, that is where almost 6 months there will be winter and 6 months will be summer. Okay, so solar energy, it is a very bright idea. Okay, so Thomas Edison, he has given a quote, so that I would put my money on the sun and solar energy. What a source of power. I hope we don't have to wait till oil and coal run out before we tackle that. So this was given by the Thomas Edison. So he knew that oil, coal, all this will be, it does not exist, but solar will remain forever. Okay, so how so we know that radiation, so sun's energy, it will travel through the radiation. Okay. So how much solar energy is there? So sun will radiates around 180 billion megawatt of energy over the earth per day. Okay. So this much energy is getting. The surface receives about 47% of the total solar energy that reaches the earth, and only this amount is usable. Okay, so whatever the energy which is coming from the sun, so only 40% we are utilizing. Okay, so solar for the India, if we see, most part of the solar India, it receives good solar radiation, that is 4 to 7 kilowatt per square meter per day, and it is possible to meet growing energy demands and cover the deficit areas. Okay, it can substantially reduce consumption of kerosene and diesel for lighting and power generation. So we can depend on solar energy. Nowadays, we can see many homes and all, they are using the backup as a solar batteries and all. Then solar, it provides access and empowerment at a grassroots level. So here we can see the state-wise, the area, what is the solar, how much solar radiation we get. Okay. So dark red part, that is Rajasthan, we are getting highest, that is 6.6 to 6.4. Okay. Then 4.6 to 4.4 we are getting in the northern region, where the cold regions are available. Okay. So solar energy can be categorized into two, that is solar thermal and solar photovoltaic. Okay. Solar thermal means what? It is for only water heating and cooking. Okay, and solar photovoltaic, so it is used for the electricity production. So here we can see the picture, that is how cooking can be done, solar cooking. Then water heating can be done, that is solar thermal energy. Okay, so solar water heating, how the solar panel is here. So sun radiation will come, and here we are having the cold water in that, and finally we will get the hot water, so which we will be using for the bathing. So then next we'll study about the flat plate collector. Okay, so flat plate collector, here we can see the flat plate collector. Okay, so here the absorber plate is a metallic. Whatever the absorber plate, that is metallic, and it is usually coated black. So why we are coating black? Because to absorb more heat energy. And tubes passages are there with the collector which carry water or the working fluid. So we will be using the tubes. Okay, so tubes, it will carry the water. Then insulation should be provided at the back and at the sides to minimize the heat losses. So insulation should be provided so that there should be minimum heat loss. And insulation material, usually glass wool is used. Okay, so this is the solar water heating. So solar water heating, it is the most efficient and economical use of solar energy. So now we are discussing about the solar thermal energy. Okay, so how it works? So solar panel, it is used to heat work. Okay, so sun rays means it is heat energy is there, so it will be carried here. Okay, so here water tubes are available, so transparent top is there. Okay, so this is the box. Then cold water will enter here, and finally we will be getting the warm water out, that is the hot water out. So due to the heating of this tubes. So solar water heating, we can use the flat plate collector, and we can also use the parabolic or concentrating collector. So next we will discuss about the solar electric, that is for the electricity generation. So for electricity generation, we will be using the photovoltaic cells. Okay, so here you can see the number of panels, solar panels. Okay, so mainly in this way we can collect the panels and we can produce the large electricity. Okay, photovoltaic system, it converts light energy directly into electricity. Okay, so whatever we have studied, that is fuel cell, then solar energy. Okay, so all these are direct, they are converting the direct energy, that is heat energy into the electricity. So here solar photovoltaic cell, it converts light energy into electricity. So commonly it is known as the solar cells. We call it as the solar cell. And the simplest system powers the small calculators we use every day. Okay. And more complicated systems, it will provide a large portion of electricity in the future. Okay, so for simple calculation also we can use this. So we are using the solar energy. So PV photovoltaic represents it, one of the most promising means of maintaining our energy intensive standard of living. Okay, so it doesn't contribute to the global warming and pollution. So in future, we may depend on this photovoltaic cell for producing the electricity. So how it works? So mainly what happens, sunlight, it is composed of photons or bundles of radiant energy. Okay, when photons strike a photovoltaic cell, they may be reflected or absorbed. That is, absorbed means what? It will be transmitted through the cell, and only the absorbed photons, they generate the electricity. Okay, and when the photons are absorbed, the energy of the photons is transferred to electrons in the atoms of solar cell. Okay, so solar cell, they are usually made up of thin pieces of silicon, and the substance that makes up sand and the second most common substance on the earth. So silicon is the second most common substance in the earth, and one piece of the silicon, it has small amount of boron added to it, which gives the tendency to attract the electron. So it is called p layer. Okay, p layer, because of its positive tendency. Okay, so we are adding silicon with small amount of boron, and the other piece of silicon which has having this small amount of phosphorus is added to it, and it gives access to free electrons, and this is called n layer. And because it has the tendency to give up negatively charged electrons, so that's why we call it as n layer. So here we can see the photovoltaic cell, that is positive proton. Okay, so sunlight, that is sun radiation, it will be falling on the photovoltaic cell. P layer means what here? That is the positive, and n means negative, so that's why we call it as PN junction. Okay, so here we can see how the sunlight will be falling on the photovoltaic cell. Okay, so here electron flow will happen, that is positive and negative electrons. Okay, so here we can get p-type silicon and n-type silicon, and in between them the junction will be produced. Okay, from where we will get the current, and that current can be used for the for our purposes, that is consumer purposes. So mainly it works on the photoelectric effect, how it works. So we will see. So basic process by which a photovoltaic cell, it converts is by absorbing the sunlight into the electricity. Photons, what it does, it knock the electrons free from the silicon structure and freeing them to enter electric current and power a load like a bulb. Okay, so here we can see physics of photovoltaic generation. So n-type semiconductor. So silicon is a semiconductor. Okay, n-type semiconductor, p-type semiconductor. We are having the depletion zone. Okay, so sun radiation will come. Okay, so it will be absorbed. Then we will get the electricity through the photovoltaic cell. PV array components, that is, we can have the number of arrays of photovoltaic cell. Okay, so here we can see that is cell is there, cell, it is inside the module. Okay, then we are having the arrays of the photovoltaic cells. So main components of PV system, they are, that is sunlight will be coming, that is we are having the solar array. Solar array, it consists of the that is photovoltaic cell. Then we are having the battery, then that is charge control is there. Okay, then we are having the inverter load, then direct current also we will get, and we can by inverter we can convert it into direct current into alternating current. Okay, So picture shows the arrays of the photovoltaic cell. So applications, PV applications, we are having the example of car is available. Okay. And agricultural purpose also we can use. So we are having industrial high temperature solar thermal power plants. So industrial high temperature solar thermal power plants, they are the systems for industrial scale used only to utilize the solar heat energy to power a turbine in order to produce an electricity. And main goal is that to successfully provide a fuel that is clean, efficient and cost effective, and the energy used is for the industrial purposes. And how it works, 5 types are there with different models. So all operate with the same, that is they use the lenses and reflectors to concrete solar power, and mainly heat drives the thermal power plant. Okay, so here we can see that is reflectors are available. Okay, absorber tubes are there. Okay, then what happens at the night? Power is stored during the daytime in the molten salt, that is approximately 1050 degree Fahrenheit. Okay, and the salt sometimes used to heat graphite, which will be used as a heat storage medium. That is nighttime operations are also possible. So storage of the heat from solar power plants can allow solar power plant to operate around the clock. So 24 hours we can use. That is for the storage we are using. So it is unique because they can generate the power when it is needed, that is day or night, rain or shine. So there are different types of designs are there, that is solar power towers are there, solar power towers. Okay, parabolic troughs are there, the parabolic trough collectors, then solar dish, then concentrating solar power plants. Okay, then Fresnel reflectors, all these are the different designs. Okay, so high temperature system, that is here we can see that is solar energy radiation will be coming here, and it will be reflectors are available. Okay, so from the reflectors the energy will go, it will be received. That is here as we've seen, that is solar tower. Okay, so that heat energy can be used to run the turbine, and from the turbine we can generate the we can get the electricity. Okay, so this will be for the large power plants. So high temperature system we get around 1500 to 1700 degree Celsius. Okay, we know that is power towers are there. Okay, so power tower, that is solar one, it is having steam heat transfer, that is 10 megawatt. So solar tower 2, again molten salt heat transfer will be available. Okay, so here in this diagram we can see that is how the heat that is light energy from the sun, it will go to the reflector, then receiver. Okay, so here we are providing the cold salt and hot salt. Then here is the steam generator. Okay, so finally electricity that can be distributed. So this is the clean energy. So first large scale solar energy project in the US, that is in the 1982. So heliostats, they reflect the ray towards a central tower where heat is used to produce steam, and then steam turns a turbine like in the traditional plants. So here you can see the solar tower. Okay, so flat mirrors are aimed to melt salt. So we are having also the parabolic, like solar towers, we can use the parabolic trough also. Parabolic trough, they are made of long rows of concentrating mirrors. They are only curved in one direction. They can easily track the sun from east to west with the surface that focuses sun energy. and heat transfer fluid runs through the pipe that is at the focus of the trucks, and heat is transferred to the working fluid, usually water, and they can be used to power or drive the turbine. So here are the picture of this parabolic trough. Okay, so they can move, that is from in the direction that is wherever the heat that is light energy is more, so according to that they can move. Okay, so this is one of the plant which is located in Las Vegas. So parabolic trough, so sunlight, it is focused on heat transfer fluid which runs the steam turbine. So here the reflector, it is having the parabolic shape. Okay, so that sun rays will strike the profile, and profile will be reflected on its focal point. So here fluid will be heated to a very high temperature. So this is the detailed diagram. Okay, so these are the parabolic collectors. Okay, so here we can see solar heated, which is transferred to the fluid, and this is used to the steam generator. Okay, then here we will get the superheated steam. So from the superheated steam, it will go to the turbine, it will run, and we will get the electricity through the electric generator. And again, condenser is there. So condenser we can use to cool the steam, that is vapor, and it will be sent to the cooling tower. So in this way, we can use to run the turbine by using the parabolic collectors. Okay, so all this were the high temperature system. We are having the low temperature system also. So here it uses the flat collector with, and it is heating the water up to 80 degrees Celsius only, and water will be circulated through the flat collector. Okay, so since we can see the diagram here, so butane boiler is available here. So hot water will go to the boiler, and from here the steam will go to the turbine. So heat exchanger is used to vaporize a low boiling fluid. So low boiling fluid is what? It is the butane. So that's why the temperature is low, it is 80 degrees Celsius. And the butane vapor, it will run the turbine. Okay, so here we can see the example, that is parabolic trough generating plant, that is low temperature plant. So there are again another types are there, that is parabolic dish. So they are still under the development. So CSP also is there, is concentrating solar power. Then we are having the solar concentrator. So these are here, if you see the diagram, that is 20 kilowatt solar system dishes. Okay, that is in Australia. These concentrations use an array of mirrors to focus sunlight onto high efficiency solar cell. We can also use the solar scale photovoltaic power plants. There are some political and economical obstacles for solar energy, that is currently not economical, that is high investment is required, initial cost, that is high cost of building facilities needed, and currently can only lengthen the amount of time, okay, that have energy by only few hours, and it require more high voltage DC lines to carry the electricity. And for solar thermal energy, we need the funding for the large scale development. Okay, and opportunities, if you see, can create up to 2.5 times as many as skilled paying jobs as compared to the conventional power plants that use fossil fuels. And we get the moderate net energy, moderate environment impact. Cost can be reduced with natural gas turbine backup. And technological obstacles, that main thing is that storage, that is needs backup or storage system. Okay, because continuously it is not available, that's why we require the storage. So storage also, the solar thermal power plants, they need 16 hours of storage to continuously generate electricity. And again, one more thing is that efficiency is very low. Okay, we can, that is increasing efficiency by 20 to 30%. That can reduce the cost of electricity. Okay, and technological breakthroughs, if we see future solar collectors, they will be mass producing. Okay, so that we will get the lower cost flat mirrors rather than curved troughs, and they will be sitting low to the ground and reducing the wind loads. Okay, and fast construction will happen, that is in 1 to 2 years. And again, land issues are there. It takes a lot of area, and mainly high temperature area it works, like in the desert or where the sunlight is available. Negative environment in what, again, it may disturb the desert area. So again, wildlife it may hamper. Okay, positive environmental impact is that no CO2 emissions, that is reduced air pollution will be available, and less use of fossil fuel. Advantage is that it is clean, sustainable, it is available free, and provide electricity to remote access. Then disadvantage is that less efficient and costly equipment. Part-time, we will be using it as a part-time. Mainly it is used nowadays part-time. In future, we may depend completely on solar energy, okay, due to other technological changes. And the reliability, it depends on the location. Every location we can't get the solar energy. And environmental impact of PV cell production. So large production of photovoltaic cell, it may cause impact. Okay. So this finishes our solar energy. So I hope everyone understood. Thank you all of you.